everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Today, I have a very exciting guest, Gerald Auger. Hello. You'd like to be called Jerry, though, right?
Yep. Or Gerald. I've gotten really used to both at this point.
Okay. All right. Well, we are going to talk all about your fabulous, fabulous show and your program. And so this is going to be click this. This is going to be our topic, which is going to be daily cyber threat briefings and the Simply Cyber community. So the first question is, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, thanks, Dana, and super pumped to be here. So my name is Gerald Auger. I do have a PhD in cyber operations, hence the doctor piece of it, which I only use when I'm making restaurant reservations, honestly. I have been a cybersecurity practitioner for about 18 years. I worked in the federal IT space, healthcare, manufacturing, kind of came up that GRC track, but I have a real insatiable thirst for cybersecurity and just a real deep passion. So I've studied it professionally. I've studied it academically. And I love engaging with the overall community. In addition to being the director of cybersecurity education for ThreatGen, which is a cybersecurity simulation platform company, I'm also an adjunct faculty at the Citadel Military College, where I teach in their cyber sciences department. And I'm the chief content creator of the Simply Cyber YouTube channel, which has really blossomed. To call it a YouTube channel is almost unfair at this point, because it's really blossomed into this rich, inclusive, tens of thousands of people community of cyber practitioners that really just engage and support each other. And I'm very proud of it.
Well, you should be. And I think it's fantastic that you're doing what you're doing, because we need more people out there helping to spread the messages about cybersecurity in the technical way and in the non-technical way. So when I came across you, I was like, oh, we have got to get him out there so we can, show more people that there's somebody else that's out there trying to do something. All right. So now we're going to talk about this. So what is the Daily Cyber Threat Briefing?
Yeah, so under the Simply Cyber, banner, if you will, there's a lot of content that I'm responsible for creating and engaging with the community. And some of it is, really focused on a technical solution or talking to some industry expert. But maybe in the last, I'd say 4 months, I started doing a daily cyber threat briefing. Now, this is essentially 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every single morning. I go live, and I have about 6 or 7 current, as of today, cybersecurity news stories. And about 100 plus people jump into live stream, and they engage with each other, they chat, and we go through the 6 stories. But after each story, I pause the story. It's broadcast through a podcast, the CISOseries.com daily cybersecurity headlines. We'll pause the story so everybody gets an objective piece of news or threat briefing. And then, because I have such a deep professional experience across multiple aspects of cybersecurity, I then spend about 2 or 3 minutes digging in to the actual story and providing, contextual analysis and, an idea on how you can either take advantage of that information, if you should really make this a critical priority for you if you are a practitioner, or how you might be able to take one of the stories and use it as an opportunity to educate your end user community, because that's so valuable, to be able to educate your end user community in an effective way.
Yeah, and communicating through stories is always very helpful, because it helps people remember. People remember hearing stories, and by you providing those and then them being able to go, it's just like everything, right? It's just the message keeps getting spread further and further and further. I think that's fantastic that you do that every single morning. So where do you come up with, I know it's 6 stories every single day, where do you come up with the information for the daily reports?
Yeah, so let me show you really quick. So this is the threat briefing, but every single day, the CISOseries.com, it's David Spark and his group, they actually put out a cybersecurity headline. So every single day, Monday through Friday, there is a fresh podcast that gets dropped about 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And by the time 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time rolls around, there it is. So I'll just literally go into that day's headlines and pull up each story with a tab and get ready to go. And the funny thing is, and a lot of people don't know this, or they didn't know it at first, I don't listen to the podcast in advance in order to think out what my points are going to be and my thoughts. we're listening to it together live. And sometimes I flip out and, and react strongly because it's just a hot button topic with me that's frustrating. And sometimes it'll be something that I'm not super well versed in. And I'll actually ask chat, hey, if anyone in chat is familiar with this particular thing, what are your thoughts on this, this, and this? And it's really cool because there are, 120-ish people in there. There's typically someone or a couple of people who have exposure and awareness to that particular topic, so we can help each other out. Another fun thing just to share too that I think is cool is that every single morning, every single continent except Antarctica is represented. We always have representation from every continent every single morning. It's awesome.
That's very cool. That's very cool that you can say that every single morning too. Wow. Well, that's fantastic. Good. And it's nice to see that you're involving the audience with them being able to share their input. I bet they like that too.
Oh, absolutely. It's very inclusive, and it helps establish meaningful connections. Besides staying informed, which is very important as a practitioner, for people breaking in the industry, networking and developing meaningful connections is so important. And it's really a struggle for some people. They think they're just supposed to comment a few things on LinkedIn and that's the magic. But in chat, it's the same people every morning. They start understanding and knowing people's stories. Oh, I've got this job interview coming up. Oh, my car broke down. And you start caring about each other, which, basically translates into a meaningful connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And people love to be part of a community. That's for sure. And it was funny, yes, when we posted on my LinkedIn, the link and a little bit about you, there were people in there that said that they listened to you, and they said great things about you. So I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome.
Yeah. All right. We just started to kind of talk about this, but so who can, and what are the benefits from attending the briefing?
Yeah. So, I don't want people to think that it's only for, senior practitioners or CISOs to share. Although we do have CISOs in chat, there's a lot of different, I guess, You'll have to excuse me. My headphones just died, I think, or I got a phone call. Hold on one second. This is the problem of having all the tech integrated with everything. All right. Okay, I'm sorry. So let me start over, Dana. So there's a lot of different personas that can benefit from attending the briefing. It's not just CISOs, although we do have CISOs in there, but people who are just practitioners, whether you're an analyst or an engineer, cybersecurity, or if you're an IT person looking to break in, or if you are responsible for any part of a business's security, there's value there because we're talking about current threat activity, right? So the Felina bug or vulnerability just came out a few weeks ago, and we're seeing an uptick in activity. It was a story today showing that, security research companies like Proofpoint that is going to be able to see these emails coming in with the Felina attachments in them is noticed a significant uptake from sophisticated threat actors. If you're responsible for protecting your organization, you need to know this, right? Like, how else are you going to know to take action? So anyone across the spectrum of cybersecurity, from the entry-level junior analyst all the way to the CISO, can benefit. Also, and I love this part of it, and this is really part of one of the grounding principles of Simply Cyber, people looking to break in the industry, people looking to develop relationships and network with other people who are already in industry and find out what is important and where to spend their time and resources. There's tons of value there. I tell people all the time, Dana, if you are going to go to a job interview for a cybersecurity position, whether you've worked in the industry for 20 years or you are brand new to the industry, just graduated or a military transition, whatever, you will be asked, how do you stay current in cybersecurity? It's too important and too dynamic an industry to just depend on textbooks and stuff, right? Like, you need to be up to date now. And that's why people always say, what do you do? There's tons of answers, right? Some people say Twitter, some people subscribe to newsletters, some people just listen to the podcast that we listen to. But what I tell people is, if you do this with me every morning, you're going to not only be able to answer that question with a dynamite answer, but you're going to be informed and you're going to be delivering value. You might even tell the interviewer something they didn't even know because you're already up to speed because you watched the briefing that morning. So, and I've seen it happen, like tangible examples of people who have gotten jobs and crushed it with that particular question and impressed the interviewer.
That is such a huge point. That's a very good point, because there are a million different ways, and there are a lot of ways not to stay up on what's happening. And you're right, things are changing so fast in this industry. You can't, once a month try to say, oh, let me see what's new and exciting here. So I think that's an excellent point. And by getting it hot off the press every morning, I mean, what's better than that? And, by the younger people, you mentioned younger people listening in, and I think that this is a huge opportunity for them, because we are not doing a very good job just yet in this industry with creating roadmaps for people that are trying to transition into this. And I think they're so hungry for getting information. And not only are they going to get awesome information, but like you said, that they could start networking with some people that maybe have a lot more experience under their belt. And then maybe they could help guide the younger people into, some area that they could maybe learn a little bit more, or maybe get a job, or, something along those lines. But that tip that you just gave them about answering that question in an interview, that is huge, because they do need to know. And if you didn't know you were going to be asked that question and you really didn't have a very good answer, that's game over there.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like you're serious about cybersecurity. And cybersecurity, this is something that is some people don't want, and it's just not a great fit. But like cybersecurity, it's almost a lifestyle. Like you have to kind of stay fully engaged all the time in order to be very effective at execution. So, it's hard if you're not consuming knowledge in some capacity. And that's why they ask you the question. Honestly, that's the key reason that you get asked that question. One other thing I want to share, Dana, is a lot of people will make an effort, like get a newsletter and read it. But if it's not a good medium for you to consume, you might do it for a week or two, and then maybe you look at it once in a while, and then you kind of peter out. With the stream every morning, it's a lively, engaging bunch of people. And I might show you an example in a little bit, but we're talking, it's a 30-minute show. There's probably 120 people in there, and, 1,000, 2,000 comments throughout the half hour. I mean, people are just like, it's chatty, but it doesn't distract you from learning whatever the takeaways are supposed to be for the meeting. It's great.
Wow. That's huge. A couple thousand comments. Wow, that is really, really big. Yeah, if you want to show us a sample, I mean, I don't know how you can do that if you just click it on, turn it on, or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah.
Vulnerabilities remediated. Businesses today face a number of cybersecurity challenges, from compliance requirements and third-party risk to skilled resource shortages, ransomware, and alert fatigue. At Vulnera, we recognize these challenges and offer solutions to do the heavy lifting. Vulnera empowers organizations with security solutions that perform continuous asset discovery, vulnerability assessments, and remediation validation in a single pane of glass, so your team can focus precious time on what matters: remediation. Vulnera.com. Vulnerabilities remediated.
Absolutely. So you could see, if you go, you see the URL at the bottom, simplycyber.io.streams. If you go there, it'll drop you right here, which is basically going to show you the next kind of few episodes that are coming up. So this is, we're filming June 10th on a Friday. We already did this morning. So this is June 13th, Monday. The 14th is Tuesday, etc. So when you go into the 13th, for example, you'll be presented right here. And when the show starts, this screen will change and it'll turn into me welcoming you into chat. You can see right here, this is this morning's episode. There's me reading, talking about multi-factor authentication and federal agencies, Biden's order. You can see chat just dropping over here on the right, and people are engaging.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's very fantastic. I mean, at a minimum, I'd recommend people just check it out even once to see if it's their speed, because it's just, I'm really, really pleased with how it's evolved over time. And I've taken feedback from the community too. I definitely am a leader who serves. So I'm interested in making this the best thing for the community. I'm not doing this to pump my own tires. I'm doing it as a community service. And, I've gotten a lot of great feedback. So, it's improved over time because of that feedback from the community.
Well, that's awesome. That is awesome. And you really need a big pat on the back for what you're doing. So I think that's fantastic. And, if people get in the mode of every morning, just like, oh, let me just turn it on, and they know they're going to learn something. And like you said, if this is the medium that they can, absorb things and they like to interact with that community, I think it's a great thing. And like you said, everybody should at least give it a try, see if it's something that's, up your alley.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, I know a couple different scenarios that are happening because I think it's just like, Dana sitting at her desk firing up YouTube. Well, here's a couple things. One, I know for a fact there's companies that they, workday starts at 8, like the IT department goes into a conference room and they watch the stream together. So it shows up as one person, but it's literally a team. And I know of at least one place that's doing that. I know a guy messaged me the other day. He said, hey, I drop my kids off at school. We drive from 8 to 8:30 every morning. Would you mind giving a shout out to my kids and embarrass them on stream tomorrow? And I said, sure. So people are consuming it in different kind of ways, but they're making it work for their way, right? So you don't have to see me to enjoy it. You can't enjoy the chat piece of it as much, but you can consume it in different ways. I'll also mention the YouTube is really where you should go for the greatest level of engagement, but I do stream to my LinkedIn account, my Twitch account, my Twitter account, my YouTube. Like I want to get this out there, and whatever way I can in order to reach people, that's the deal. But I'll tell you, the YouTube is really the creme if you want to get the best experience.
Yeah, that's great. So then when it streams on LinkedIn, do you re-air it, or it just kind of goes out there and it'll say previously live on LinkedIn kind of thing?
Yeah, so you can go to if you go to the Simply Cyber channel, you can see that the previous uploads are available. See, you can see like this is this morning, June 10th right here. So you could go into this if you wanted and check it out and go around. So that is, you actually will see in comments, people like team replay today. Thanks, Jerry. Your channel's my new addiction. Love the joke of the week, right? So people do engage on the replay, which I appreciate. But an unusual phenomenon that I have noticed is that people significantly improve being there live. I have several, like at least a dozen that I know of, people who live on the West Coast in California that get up at 5 a.m. because they do not want to consume it on Restream. They want to be live and engage with the community. So it's very, very powerful and very, very cool.
Wow. There should be thousands on there. That'll be our goal. We'll get you thousands and thousands. Every morning, everybody's getting up and starting their day with Jerry. That's great.
I honestly believe if people know about it, they're going to love, like, I've yet to meet anyone who's like, it's okay, I could take it or leave it.
Well, now here's a question. So some of my audience is involved with CMMC. So how does attending help with their business comply with CMMC?
Yeah. So if you're going to be, held to CMMC standards or the 800-171 security control requirements, there are specific call outs for training. Right now, when we think of training, we might think of just end user training and maybe once a year PowerPoint. But yes, there is training for that. But how do you educate your staff that are supposed to be providing that training? How do you actually put training in place where you're doing kind of end user behavior adjustment to improve cyber hygiene and reduce risk? Because that's really what the goal of security awareness is. It's not supposed to be a pencil whip. So within CMMC, they actually have call outs that your information security staff are trained on kind of the discipline of doing their job, and that they receive regular training, really, to be able to better execute their job. And the end user training control requirement is in there also. But the idea behind that is to educate end users to, basically be less of a risk to the organization. The daily threat briefing addresses both of these because, like I said before, we have the cybersecurity practitioners in chat, right? They're learning and consuming that. The Felina bug. There was a update today about how Emotet is resurged or resurfaced, and it's actually attacking Google Chrome if you have stored credit cards in your Google Chrome. Well, that's an amazing opportunity for you to educate your end users in a personalized, meaningful way. Yeah, your business probably doesn't use credit cards in Google Chrome, but that's not the best way to curb and help adjust end user behavior. You have to personalize it and say, hey, listen, Dana, like, I know you use Google Chrome. I just want to let you know your credit card could be at risk because of this emotet threat that comes through an email. Let me just explain to you quickly what a phishing email is and how this could work, because I don't want your personal credit card, Dana, to get compromised, right? What an awesome opportunity to help educate and protect the end user in a meaningful way. So basically, if your staff attends the cyber threat briefing, or if you don't have cyber staff and just you attend it, because I make it accessible and not super technical, I want this to be accessible to a wide audience. You can gladly check off those CMMC requirements easily and not only meet the compliance requirement, but actually reduce risk to your organization, which is what I'm most interested in.
You are singing the same song I'm always talking about all the time, is if you want people to change their behavior, you have to focus on teaching them how to protect themselves, their families, their kids, things that are important to them. And then their thought process changes when they're dealing with something that's related to work. And, this whole beating everybody on the head once a year, for however many years we've been doing this, for them to learn how to, their cybersecurity training, and it's just not working. And exactly what you just said, and telling somebody your personal credit card is stored in there, and they're like, wait a minute, what? So that I agree with you 100%. By helping them help themselves, we're all helping each other and helping the companies that they work for.
Yeah, it's two of the most powerful ways to properly deliver cybersecurity end user awareness training. It's unmistakably one of the two most important things you can do.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this was fantastic. So is there anything else you want to throw in there before we go?
I mean, I guess just reiterate to anybody who's interested, if you go to simplycyber.io/streams, right? Like just like this, it's going to dump you right here. And I encourage you to, you don't have to hit subscribe. You don't have to hit the bell for notifications or any of that. Just come, maybe hit notify me so you get reminded when we go live at 8 a.m. But come check out one of the shows, see if you like it. I'm also pretty active on LinkedIn, so if you want to consume it there, you're more of a LinkedIn user, I'd encourage you to come check out LinkedIn. This is my profile right here. Connections are open, DMs are open, whatever the kids say nowadays. So come check it out, and let's work together. Let's collaborate.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it. And hope you get a ton more people showing up every single morning, and we can help spread the word about that. And thank you, everybody, for watching. So until next time,
Thanks, Dana.
Stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Yeah.